Hello, I would like to talk about the idea of why nuclear energy is a better source. Um, we all know that there are various problems, what people think are the problems with nuclear energy, but I want to talk about the various myths and what is the truth hidden from the fear of it. Um, I will be telling you about nuclear energy and trying to give you a fair argument on whether or not to decide if it isn't or if it is a better energy source, basically. So, throughout the ages, humans have figured out several ways to make energy from the oil to the sun, but we found one as beneficial as it is dangerous, which is nuclear energy. There's a fear of nuclear energy due to the various disasters, and one that has killed the development, which is the 3 Mile Island. But in truth, it was a small meltdown that has been quickly stopped with few health benefits. And we can see this from the actual official report from the ARC. And because of that, I want to talk about why nuclear energy is a much better energy source and why it should be considered compared to the other options. I will talk about the safety and why there should not be as much fear for it, and how cost effective it is, even to its compared to fossil fuels, which is the main energy source we have been using. For now, why is it so safe? Nuclear energy waste is not from various barrels and barrels of liquid, of the gooey liquid that everyone seems to fear. We mostly contain it in a process where we put into containers, and it is more of a solid thing that we put into underground and seal it with clay and rock. And this comes from the official worldnuclear.org. Because of that, the process of nuclear decay, which makes the various nuclear, which is how we contain the waste, the nuclear, it slowly decays, and most, if not all of it, has a shelf life of around a month, and it barely lasts. And and that is why we keep it into the various containers in order to keep it safe from everyone else. And we can see that from the APA government, where it literally states only the extremely dangerous nuclear nuclear material has a shelf life of thousands upon years in order for it to decay, but some of them can go so little as a couple seconds. The containers we use are extraordinarily strong, and there has been yet to be a single breach in terms of nuclear waste. So you would have no way of knowing that you would land near a nuclear thing if properly stored. Because of this, there has been no known case of a transport of nuclear material ever breaking seal in America, which we can see this from the worldnuclear.org with their myths and how they transport it. But not only that, but the waste that is produced is nowhere near as much as fossil fuels, which has been seen in the Lear.org, which leads me to why it's so much a better energy source. It's very why it's a bunch of better energy sources to use. It is so much cleaner compared to other forms of energy. Properly stored nuclear energy has no known health effects, which has been seen in a .org article on the top 10 myths of nuclear energy. Fossil fuels, on average, have a higher waste than nuclear, which gives out too minimal. While, while nuclear has a higher energy output, it is said that, which is from the energy.org official. It has also been shown how damaging, which has been seen in climate change to the point where some cities are simply unbreathable to even breathe. And the main way of nuclear is stored into 3 points, which is LLW, which is low, ILW, which is medium, and then HLW, which is the high one that people are extremely scared of. But the idea that this material is the only high level that has been produced is only to 1% of all the waste that we have produced using nuclear energy. There is very, very little of it in store. With that, I will talk about how the nuclear industry has advanced, because it has been a long time since Chernobyl. Some of which are advanced reactors that can be powered with renewable sources, can burn waste for energy, which has been seen in the energy innovations. Another cost-effective way is by using the thrills that are used in fossil fuels to build very, very side-fill, very narrow tunnels that can easily store various forms of nuclear waste, and it is just more cost efficient than storing it in certain area, than having a big area to store it in. This has been seen from Deep Isolations when they did a news article, when they had a news article on them. Another way is removing a noble gas from removing a gas from a rod, which allows the rod to extend its life and makes a more effective energy to it. The only problem is that because of fear of nuclear energy, that a lot of these advancements and the use of it is not able to be achieved, because everyone is too scared to even try, in fear of another Chernobyl. I went over how the waste is not some terrible liquid, and how the waste of high to even is nowhere near as bad as fossil fuels, and it is so much more cost effective, and how the industry is getting more advanced, and it could get even more and more advanced if we just allow it to continue to thrive. With that, I have told you all the main points of nuclear energy. With that, I've talked about all the various points on nuclear energy, and I hope now that you have some form of understanding. More of an understanding on why it's an extremely important energy source, since it is so much better than fossil fuels, and it can be allowed to let the planet heal, and to allow the sustainable modern life that we have built. I have told you the main points, and I hope that you can come up with a reasonable conclusion than just simply thinking that nuclear energy is the end, when it's really not. When nuclear energy is so dangerous, when it is really not. is safer and a better energy source. With that, I end my speech.